Welcome to The Ones to Know. I'm Kelly, the Regional Director of Cooper Sotheby's International Realty, and I'm here today with Shay. Thanks for being here, Shay.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so glad that you're here, and because you are one of the busiest women that I know. Like, I'm not kidding. You do so much, and we're going to get into that, but thank you for making time.
Yeah,
I really
thank you for
appreciate
having me. I'm happy to be here.
So we'll kick it off. Did you go to the game last night?
I did not.
No.
Oh my gosh.
You go to every game.
You know what's crazy is I have been so busy that I was seeing people posting in the jerseys and I was like, is there a game tonight? For the record, I'm a season ticket holder
Yes.
and I have almost front row seats.
You
in
were
the
always
Lexus Club.
there.
Yeah, so I made a big whoopsie and missed that one.
Oh, but
That's
Messi
right.
didn't come.
That's right.
Yeah. But I
I
thought,
can't believe, literally last time, I'm like, is there a game?
okay,
Thank
but
you
you
for
do
making sure I
so
know.
much.
I do. I mean, really, I think one of my kids wet the bed last night and that was kind of my focus for the, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So tell us a little bit. We'll touch on real estate and then tell me how it morphed into all of the businesses that you have.
Yeah, so I have been kind of in the construction real estate periphery since I was in college.
Okay.
I stumbled into it. I actually started in construction before I
Oh,
was
you
a real-
did?
yeah,
Oh, I didn't
before was a
realize that.
broker
I
or
thought one
realtor.
came after the other. Okay.
Yeah, no, construction came first. And I kind of got my real estate license purely out of, I'm already doing all the things that basically educate you for this. I might as well.
Yeah.
And they've just kind of always ran in tangent where one's busier than the other and then you kind of switch. And right now it's kind of both of them for me. So juggling that has been a little challenging, but it's been exciting.
You work on so many homes. How do you, what's your process? If somebody comes to you and they want you to scope out a project for them, how does that work?
Well, I should start with this. I have two different construction businesses. One is just kind of a classic design consulting. That I usually work hand in hand with contractors or I bring in the right vendors. And really that's about optimization. How do we get a really great high-end look within the budget you can work with? Because the reality is when you see something on Pinterest, a lot of people can't afford it. And if they can't afford it, they're probably not coming to me trying to figure out how to afford it. So that's branch. That's one arm. The other arm is purely construction with autoclaved aerated concrete and steel. That's a whole conversation. But my goal over there was really how do we bring global construction practices to America to create homes that are built to last, that are made to withstand things like fire, tornadoes, mold won't grow on it, all that. So that has been really my baby the last
It is really cool.
2 years. Yeah. And
I hadn't even heard about it until you told me about that. Tell us a little bit about the building process. I don't even know if I could explain it back because it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
How quickly it can be built and all that stuff.
Yeah, so really my goal with that was when you go abroad and look at how things are built, it's pretty rare that you actually find wood framing as a standard construction product. It's really mostly in America where you see that. And I wanted to figure out why that is. And I really figured out the two things are, number one, there's a huge timber lobby here. Our whole construction industry is built around windows being made to fit in wood framing, right? Doors being made to fit in the framing they're made for.
Yeah.
And then the other piece is autoclaved aerated concrete, which is one of the products we build with. It's a specialty product here and it's a commodity abroad. So I've been really trying to problem solve how am I going to get this product to be more commodity here?
Yeah. How can you do it?
Well, first off, it's being really nice to the suppliers.
Okay.
I've really spent a lot of time figuring out how to do that. I started looking at suppliers in Syria and some pretty, even at one point the Ukraine, and then that ended up in war. And I was like, maybe this isn't the best supply chain option.
Yeah.
Right now I'm actually working with a group out of Mexico who has a plant in the United States. And their next plant's actually going to be in Texas. So
Really?
It's really good. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
And this product we build with, autoclaved aerated concrete, you do sometimes see it in commercial. It's a good mid-rise product. So a lot of the small Spring Hill Suites, that kind of stuff. They use it. HEBs have been built with it. So really when it comes down to why we're not seeing it more in residentially, it's A, people don't know how to build with it who are residential builders, and B, it tends to just be more expensive.
Yeah.
So a lot of these suppliers have really they're really incentivized to try to make it more residentially available. So they're really working with me on bringing that cost down.
Nice.
The other thing is, the last few years, you've started to see a lot of things like wildfires and hurricanes and things that are destroying wood-built homes. And suddenly the world's a little bit more open to finding the solution to that.
Agree. So. Insurance companies alone should be looking at a product like this because it's
One good thing.
So my
road with insurance has been interesting because when I started that conversation a while ago, a lot of insurance companies would actually prefer to insure something that is guaranteed to fail, but it's cheaper to replace than insure something that's built right.
Yeah. That's so sad.
I could get into that for years. But at the end of the day, though, nowadays, they're starting to be a little bit more open to, okay, as replacement costs come down and the risk factor goes down, maybe this is something we want to insure. And I'm actually the last few that we've had homeowners in, the insurance has been toe-to-toe with wood-framed homes. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to see how that keeps evolving for you.
Yeah, we've got 6 of those currently underway.
Really?
So.
What part of the city?
All central. I very intentionally bought lots and have only taken on client projects that are basically within a 4-mile radius of each other, just so that we can always have one project at a different phase. So we can really explain it.
Smart.
And I mean, that's a whole conversation, but I'm really taking an education foot forward with that. And, I'm never going to sell one of those products. I'm going to educate people on what the difference is. And if they choose to want to purchase it, they're the right person for it.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. Okay. So she does real estate, 2 of these other businesses. And no, we're not done. There's one more.
I do. I have a property management company. I founded that with my cousin, and I feel like all my businesses were founded because I was tired of dealing with pain points of the other companies.
That's always what happens.
I know. I just, I really got sick of dealing with property management companies that didn't care.
Yeah.
And additionally, the bar and the standards are so low in property management. There's also not a lot of women in property management. And that own companies and set the standards for them. So we just decided to do things differently. And it's been a really great pairing because, my background is construction, maintenance, kind of like the uglier side of it. Jen comes from a spa background, a luxury spa background. So really high touch, high service. And we blended those to be able to have, high level of service, accessible price point. And we're trying to stay ahead of how do we avoid having all these plumbing issues? How do we avoid, X, Y, and Z? And at the end of the day, the answer to that is always just thinking ahead and taking a prevention step forward instead of focusing on the maintenance part. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And the name of that business?
So that is Ampersand. Yeah. So I have Ampersand.
Follow it.
Ampersand is property management. Branch is my design and construction consulting business. And then Stack and Standard is my autoclaved area concrete construction business.
And then you do real estate.
Then somewhere in there, I sell real estate.
A lot of real estate.
You know what? Real estate is what keeps dinner on my table. It's funny, though. My real estate practice has really evolved from really just when I think about how I started out, I really was excited to be with people and the fun part of it. And, I'm helping people potentially buy their first home or really level up their lifestyle. Yeah. And now sometimes I show up, I'm so ingrained in this construction world that I'm like, here's the bad parts of this house. Here's the good parts. Here's the data.
Which they love, I'm sure, but it's a lot of info.
It's, what I've found is I have very few passive buyers. People love me or they hate me. A lot don't hate me, I'll be honest. But I'm not for everyone. But the people I work with, I got a $500 spa gift card the other day from a client at closing. And nice. I was like, did you see what I made on this? Are you sure you want to give me and I'll take it. But
yeah, because you do. You go above and beyond. You really take care of the clients. You're really, really good at it.
Yeah, I would say this. I think that there are things that I do that are average, and there are things that I do that are so above beyond what's expected. It's completely from left field, and I think it's the people that see that, need that, appreciate that really see me as their lifelong broker.
Yeah. And so how long have you been doing real estate?
I started I started in construction when I was 21, and I got my real estate license when I was 24, so about 11 years.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. And so for new people that are trying to get into the market, what advice would you give them?
Get on a team. Get on a team and learn from someone, because at the end of the day, the education you get doesn't set you up for actually being a good agent. And, the best services and tools you can offer are from mistakes you've either made or seen other people made, or lessons you can learn from someone else.
And you can learn so much more in a collaborative team environment with others.
If you're on your own for 4 years, you only have so many data points. But if you're on a team of 5 or 6 people, they're dealing with a lot of stuff. They're at a higher level. They're probably making more money.
Yeah.
And I think on top of that, being able to say I've worked on a home at a certain price point in a certain area, even if you were just a tiny part of it, it's important.
Yeah, true. And what is your favorite part of our business?
of being in real estate as a broker, salesperson. I would say being able to serve people to the best of my ability. I think selling real estate pulls all my experiences together into one thing. It helps me educate people better on like, I know the bones of a house. I understand what's going on in the soil. Like I understand, things I've sold 10 years ago, what they're doing now, things I sold 3 years ago, what they're doing now. I'm able to pull all the parts of my business that I've intentionally tried to improve and package it up and hand it to somebody else for their benefit.
Yeah.
Like I love being able to take all of those painful lessons I've learned through mistakes I've made and help other people avoid that.
Yeah, you do that. You're definitely like the go-giver. You're just like, here's what I've learned. If this helps you, great.
Yeah.
Take from what I've done and what I've learned.
Yeah.
So, okay, one of the best things I remember when I very first met you, I'm like, how do you do it all? And you're like, Kelly, I double down on the help for every single thing I have in my life. And I'm like, mind blown. So good. Tell us about that.
Are you talking about my artillery of nannies, basically?
Just all of your businesses too. It's very fascinating.
Yeah. So first off, I really don't have employees. I have people that are 1099 that have hands in all of my businesses. So Anna works with me and she works with me on all of my businesses. I learned this the hard way. I can't remember if you were working with us then or not, but I randomly went into a coma for 6 days and had many weeks in the hospital. And when you don't expect that to happen, your whole business, somebody else has to get in your email and figure it out. Yeah. And so I went through that experience. And from that, I realized I want someone that knows everything, a little bit of everything I'm doing so that if something flatlines, they can pick up. So
it's so true. That's the hardest part about what we do. It takes us as individuals. If you don't have that team structure set up, there's no one else to do it.
Yeah. So I'm a big believer in have few that are close versus a bunch of people that are distant. So
okay.
And then my home life, one of the ways I'm able to make time for my business is, I will do all my own laundry, but I can't remember the last time I folded something and put it away. I hire that out. I won't clean my house. I don't even know where my vacuum cleaner is. There's just certain things that I are not a good return on investment for me.
Yeah.
And even, sometimes that goes far enough that like the 25-minute drive to and back from my kids' daycare is not worth my time. Yeah. So, I want to make sure that if I can spend that 50 minutes working and then when they come home, have an extra 50 minutes with them doing something that we're both excited about, I've intentionally offloaded that part of it. Yeah. So I look at my, my house manager and my house help as basically an employee to my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And your calendar is amazing. I remember I had a meeting with you or you had a meeting with somebody. You're like, oh, and we're done here. Like we're out of time and I'm on to the next appointment.
Love her. There was a point where I would just say, and we're done. And I realized I got to give heads ups. And I'll start a meeting with, I want to be respectful of everybody's time. You have 10 minutes.
I love that. I loved that so much. Yeah. Okay. So the market has been, a bit all over the place. How has that impacted your business or what's your perspective on it too?
It's slow.
Yeah.
I like making more money than I'm making.
Fair.
It's just kind of changed the approach. Yeah. When things were crazy, your time went into trying to find a client. And once you had them, you knew it was going to move, the product. And now it's the other way. It's not hard to find the client, but it's hard to actually, find them the house or, sell the house. So it just kind of changed how we're doing that. I also spend a lot more time now. Relationships for COVID, for example, was 90 days. If someone called me to list their house, I knew I would be done talking with them in about 90 days or less. Mm-hmm. And now I have a full expectation of 4 to 6 months, and I got to have something to say every Monday morning.
Yes. Yeah. So and that is the hardest part. Easy in the beginning, but when you're on month 6, that is incredibly challenging. Yeah. So how do you overcome that?
Well, first off, I will say Cooper Sotheby's, the tools they have has been helpful. This is not even a plug. I know.
Thank goodness.
I'm not being told to say this. No, really. It's some of the back end tools we have really helps me be able to say what's going on. Yeah. I think I have a lot of bad news for my sellers in general right now. Yeah. And what's really helpful is I will never tell them the bad news. I will tell them what's going on and ask them what their interpretation is. I always kind of guide them to give me the bad news versus me telling them.
Yeah.
So, that can be as simple as, We've had no showings in a week and a half. Our views count on the internet has gone from 100 a week to 2 in a week. And everything around us is priced about 10% lower. So, we can definitely stay where we are, or, if you feel comfortable, maybe we move.
Yeah.
Let me know what you want to do.
Yeah.
And it takes a pretty dumb seller to say, no, I'd love to just
sit here and wait, and it's painful, and let's keep going. Yeah. But some do.
Some do. Yeah. And, I've even had situations, I think what's hard is I'm a single mom to 2 toddlers. I have a lot of businesses. I care deeply about my clients. And at the end of the day, if I don't feel like the path we're on is going to serve either of us, I have no problem ending a listing agreement. Yeah. And what's been really interesting is I think when people have an agent who's willing to walk away from their listing pretty much at any point, they actually do more to retain you.
It changes the dynamic.
Totally changes the dynamic. I even have a listing where I told them, hey, I'm done. I've worked really hard on this. Love you guys. Want to help you. I don't think I'm the right person. Can I give you 3 options? This has happened more than once. 3 options of other great agents in the Austin area that I think would do a really good job.
Yeah. And what'd they say?
Sure. Yeah. I'm in the middle of one right now. I'm recommending 3 agents from Cooper Sotheby's. I had another one a couple of years ago. I even told them, they said, well, we've been eyeing a couple other people. And I said, send me their information and let me do some research and give me my opinion. And I told them, this is who you should hire. Place me. I don't know.
How does it get here? Is it because you're kind of, done giving them that news? Or are they not they're not being receptive to your recommendations?
I think having a second opinion tends to change people, or sometimes they have to fail twice, and so they were sellers that wanted to stay put. You can only tell them so many times it's not working. Yeah. And the conversation moved to, listen, I understand if you don't want a price drop. At the end of the day, I'm not going to continue representing you based on the showing schedule you can allow, the price we're at, whatever it is. And I think if that's what you want to continue forward with, I'm not the right fit.
Yeah. And I love this though, because otherwise it just, for the agents that I watch just hang on to it with all their might, it always ends up bad in the end. Everyone's mad.
I won't do it. And most of the times I have that conversation, the seller price drops, they'll stay. It's very rare. And the ones that don't, great.
Yeah.
And I'm friends with them. And what's funny is the times that's happened, they've ended up selling for less than I had been asking them to price drop to anyway. And
I know.
Yeah. That's okay.
But you retain the friendship and then and the relationship. And do any of those clients end up coming back later? Or are you like, we didn't work together so well?
The ones that have come back are the ones that chose to hire someone else and then they ultimately fire them. Yeah. Or, they move on. Or actually a really common one has been they made the mistake selling and then they come back and they're like, hey, we tried working with them to buy. They don't have your buyer's agent, capabilities. So we'd really like to work with you here.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I find that clients are a lot like ex-boyfriends for me. I'm like one of those people that stays friends with everybody. I'm still friends with people I met on Bumble and went on 2 dates with.
Are you serious?
Yeah, actually.
I'm blocked. You're done.
I worked with clients that I got from Bumble. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I love this.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
So if you're a new agent, get on Bumble.
I don't know if you're on Bumble, but you have a very interesting love life. I would love for you to
going
share.
There.
It looks so good. Congratulations.
Yeah. No, it is good. Yeah, I think it takes a very... Let me back up. I started dating before my youngest had turned 1. Okay. So, yeah. So that's that.
How old is the youngest now?
He is 2.5. My daughter is going to turn 4 in November. It's a very interesting situation, but their dad and I are dear friends. We, get along great, see each other all the time. My current partner, wonderful person. We're both busy, have busy lives, but support each other where we can.
And he has kids and you have kids. And so how do you juggle, your businesses and finding time to date?
It's really hard. Well, now that I'm not dating anymore, we're anchored. We've been anchored for a while. A lot easier. But, I actually looked at, I invest a lot in the help I get. And I look at dating as an investment in my future. I think both monetary in terms of we're providing mutual support in our different ways together. And I think even just stability and covering for each other. And I want my kids to see a happy, healthy relationship modeled. And so I had no problem spending the ungodly amount of money that babysitters charge.
Yeah. I love that. Well, okay. What is your rest of your year looking like? What are your goals and what do you have cooking?
Yeah, I mean, from the sales side, I have some great listings. I have some wonderful buyers. It's just a matter of trying to, get everyone
Marry
to
the
where
two.
get them all together. I'm really focused on my construction business.
Yeah.
I really think Stack and Standard is changing the way homes are the standard. I would say this. I really think Stack and Standard is raising the bar for residential construction.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit of a scary road. Actually, an agent in our company looked at me the other day and she said, "You have balls of steel for doing what you're doing." And it kind of shook me because
Really?
it's not someone that uses that phrase. But I realize it is. I mean, it takes a certain
You are
person to
forging
have
a new path.
yeah, I mean, when you're a single mom, 2 young kids, financial provider, and you're throwing all you have at a building practice that is unproven in America, and I'm literally having to change the way the city of Austin is willing to inspect homes and evaluate
Really?
reasonable materials. Yeah, I mean,
Why? Because is it not comparable to what Icon or any of the other like eco type builders are doing?
I mean, it's different. They would have forged their own path on,
Yeah.
they probably went through a similar
Same
version
thing.
of this.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, the truss systems we're using, like really all the structural components are just different. I think one of the interesting ones was we went toe to toe with the fire marshal on a couple things, and we ended up getting everything that we needed done.
Really? Awesome.
Yeah, because at its core, they're the city of Austin's permitting department. They're trained to tell you what you have is not a 1-hour fire rated product in this one spot, and that's what you need. Actually, it wasn't even an hour; it's a 20-minute fire rated product. And what I'm building with is 4 hours. So yes, it looks different. But I have, 10, 20 times the fire rating. And, well, you have to provide documentation to prove that. You have to get experts to,
But it exists.
Exists.
Yeah.
And it exists in commercial. And, a lot of times, too, these people don't understand this product because it's very commercially available, but not residentially. So you have to take the time to explain it. And, the bureaucracy of getting these things approved.
That would be the hardest part.
But
I
we have
no
been
patience for
successful.
that.
At this point,
job.
every single piece of pushback I've gotten, we have been able to move through. And I know that, it's just one time. I have to go through this one time, and every other time it'll be.
Shay, that's incredible. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
Myself on the back.
Yes, you should. I mean, it's huge.
Well, and what's been interesting about that journey is it morphed from I want to build a better building envelope to, I now recognize all the problems that we have in construction. And that spans everywhere from, the silty clay soil we have, right? All the foundation issues. How do we prevent
So
that?
many.
And, so on all of our build sites, for example, we're treating soil 10 feet under the ground to bond with the clay to ensure that it won't absorb water. My houses will not have foundation issues because we're taking the time and spending the money to do that.
That's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
With all of our mechanicals, for example, we're having a mechanical engineer design all of our ducting and our HVAC systems. We're putting dehumidifiers in the attic, which is not standard.
Yeah.
And
And
then
so
when you
good
get
for health.
people that want dehumidification in the house, they put it in the house, but they don't realize that actually puts heat in the house, that overworks the HVAC system, and the right place to put it is in the attic. So I've this last year has been really full of me deep diving into building science and trying to find ways to apply it in an accessible way. Because right now, building a good building science sound home is extremely expensive, and we're doing it in a way that's accessible.
Okay. That's awesome. I support you 1000%. I'm so proud of you. I think you just do an amazing job just as a person, all that you do, but also to just forge ahead in something that, every day in our industry, how many times is an inspection falling through or a seller is having to give a concession for such a huge amount because of a foundation or some type of system in the home that was faulty or just not taken care of because of the construction. And so,
well, it's. I think the other thing is, and I really hope to see a more education forward emphasis on this. But I mean, a foundation problem in one area is completely different than the source of another, right?
I know.
Cracks
I
in the
learned
walls
that
here,
moving here, right? Like east, everyone's like,
different soils,
Yeah.
or like you have different home built in the 60s versus 70s versus 80s versus 90s, different sheathing, different insulation, right? Like in theory, there's 2 really good types of homes. One that breathes really well, which is built in the 50s, and one that's completely airtight, which is current construction.
Yeah.
And those 2 completely different, but
Yeah.
you cannot take the systems you would put in this house and stick it in this house. You can't do it because the bases are different. And
You are incredible. You do all the things. How do you just give yourself a break? How do you unwind?
I don't. And when I do,
I
it's
love the
usually
honesty.
by taking Ambien and being on my laptop until I fall over. That's actually not even a joke. That's the actual answer. In addition to that, I have tickets to the Austin FC. I have season tickets. I like to travel. I'm a big fan of work-life blend versus work-life balance.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
believe in like
Especially-
I'm closing my laptop for the
Yeah.
weekend. I'm big on like I'm going to Disney World tomorrow.
How do you incorporate it?
Yep, but I'm going to also have the calls I need to have.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some parenting experts listening that are like that's going to be one messed up kid, but
No.
hopefully not.
No.
No, you know what? I'm one of those people that like, I think it all can happen. I don't believe in barriers. I'm an ENTP brain type. So that means that like, I'll take it on all of it. And, I don't get a lot of sleep. That I'll admit. I maybe average 4.5, 5 hours of sleep a night. It's
Really?
pretty bad. Yeah.
But you feel great? I mean, you always look great.
Yeah.
She's always in a great mood. She's always fun. I know.
I would say the first
What do you eat?
the first 10 minutes of waking up, I feel awful. It's like after you've had too much to drink, you're like, I'm never drinking again. And then, by 10, you've had 3 coffees. You're like, I'm good.
You're like, we're great. We're doing it again.
No, I just, I'm so excited with a lot of the stuff I'm doing. And I'm genuinely like, my favorite part of my life right now is some of the things that people would otherwise be trying to replace with like fun stuff.
Yeah.
So it works.
Yeah.
It
I think
works.
that's when you have true passion for something.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's easy to blend into your life. It's easy to have fun doing it, even if it is crazy hours. And I think that's the passion side.
Yeah. And honestly, the hardest part, like the hardest thing I deal with on a daily basis, the hardest thing is parenting.
Yes.
Love my kids, but oh my goodness, that I will sit down at my laptop to respond to 45 emails just to like, that's my debrief.
I know. Well, and you're in the thick of it. I mean, when
So
their
thick.
little voices are so cute at that
They're
age,
so
but
cute.
there's a lot going on.
They're so thick.
When
But
did
they're
we-
so sweet.
You were like, I'm on the couch. Everyone's sick.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, sick days. I think sick days, on one hand, it's tough when your kids are home. But on the other hand, I think as a parent, we're programmed to be like, no screen time. If you do screen time, you're a bad parent. But then the second they have a fever, you're like, oh, thank God, Mickey Mouse all day.
It's true. Like they snuggle.
Oh, yeah.
You can have some downtime. They're
Oh my
quiet.
gosh. And when they cry when they're sick, it's not because you did something that they're like unhappy with. You
Yeah.
didn't put the wrong sippy cup lid in the wrong spot. You didn't cut the apple too thick.
Oh,
I know.
I know. I say I miss those things. I could never go back. I mean, my dog was sick last night, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how I was a parent. This is terrible.
Oh my gosh. But then they just in the morning, they look up at you for like 2 seconds, say good morning. And you're like,
I
oh,
know.
melt.
And as they grow, I mean, it just gets more and more fun,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and they start, being able to go skiing trips and, all the
That's
things.
what taking Brooklyn this year. That's
Really?
gonna be her first ski trip. Yeah,
Oh,
super
where at?
excited. Breckenridge.
Oh, fun. Oh my gosh. It's amazing how young they start. I started skiing as an adult, very slow, big turns.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not blowing an ACL.
Yeah.
So
It's so interesting because I feel that way. I'll be like, oh my gosh, kids do things so young. But I did have a big perspective shift where a couple of years ago I watched a deer birth 2 babies. I swear this is going somewhere. But what's crazy, within like 60 to 90 seconds of these deer coming out, they
they're
were
like up
walking.
and walking. I know.
Yeah,
it is
they're up
crazy.
and walking, and then they're like, time to find the nipple. Like, it's just crazy. They just like figured it out. And I'm like, if a deer can come out of a womb, walk, and basically like move on to a new lawn
Then
in
what
the
are
first
we doing with
10
our
minutes
life?
of life, I think my kids can get on
got this.
skis. I think we're good. Yeah, I think they can eat the broccoli and not
Yes, I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much
Yeah.
for being here.
Thanks for
So
having
excited.
me.
Thank you for taking time.